Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mahardani Anissa Azim, NIM 2103211000072 in Agribusiness D. In this video, I will explain about 3 points. Number 1, review journal. Number 2, case study. Number 3, problems. Jurnal number 1 dengan judul Pemetaan Potensi Pariwisata Berbasis Komunitas melalui eksplorasi keunikan seribu pantai di Malang Selatan. Dengan 3 penulis yaitu M.R. Hoyrul Muluk, Desanti P.S. Ari, dan Latifah Hanum. In Faculty of Administrative Science, Universitas Brawijaya, Malang, Indonesia. The principle of rapid ruler appraisal are follow. Number 1, a reversal of learning is a requirement that must be carried out by learning from the local community directly or face to face. This is to gain insight from local communities such as a technical and local social knowledge. The reversal of learning principle is implemented for 3 months on 10 pieces, which are the sites of the other service. Number 2, learning rapidly and progressively is a principle that requires exploring repeatedly and progressively using awareness, flexible method, opportunistic understanding, improvisation, repetition, and cross-checking. This is necessary at the stage of analyze data obtained secondary and primary, or interview and observation, through stakeholders such as forest village, community institution, or LMDH, perhutani, government and village service, and other actors. Number 3, offsetting biases. This serves to balance habit or prejudice, especially in rural tourism development, to look for marginal actors who are source of information and learn about their concern and priority. Number 4, optimizing trade. Relating to the cost and usefulness of information at the expense of quality, relevance, accuracy, and timelines. Jurnal number 2, Participatory Rural Appraisal dalam Strategi Pengembangan Agrowisata Telaga Madiredo Muhammad Ilham Akbar, dengan penulis Zulkarnain, Pendidikan Bersekolah, Fakultas Ilmu Pendidikan, Universitas Negeri Malang. Participatory Rural Appraisal in Telaga Madiredo case focus on community participation in mapping local natural resource potential and looking for development strategy for community empowerment, including agrotourism management. The development strategy was designed in a participatory manner involving agrotourism element. In Hudayana 2019 revealed that the through of PRA approach, village community have experienced and changed in status from object that only receive development programs from the government top-down to development subjects who are involved in designing development program from the bottom up. This makes village community active in all stages of the development process, including planning, determining program priority, budgeting, implementation, and utilization of development research, which are regulated by the village community itself. In the PRA approach, village community are seen as development subjects who play a role in designing development programs from below, no longer as objects that only receive programs from above. Through active participation, village community are involved in all stages of the development process, including planning, determining program priority, budgeting, implementing and utilizing development research, arranged by the village community itself. Development program can be implemented independently and successfully from the welfare of community. In this case, the PRA carried off with the Telaga Madiredo agrotourism community is an example to development carried in a participatory manner, taking into account local regional wisdom. This effort can be seen in the process of solving several problems in agrotourism through focus group discussion. Jurnal number 3, pendekatan Sustainable Livelihood Framework dalam rangka membongkar dominasi tengkulak melalui kegiatan keagamaan. Studi kasus pada pendampingan kuliah kerja nyata PAR 2012 di Desa Luruoro, Kecamatan Pilang Kencang, Kabupaten Madiun dengan penulis Sri Wigati dan Ahmad Rum Fitrianto, dosen IAIN Sunan Ampel, Surabaya. Sustainable Livelihood Framework is a framework that prioritizes mapping of existing potential. Both material and non-material can be classified and see all existing potential. The stages in this SLF include collecting data on the vulnerability faced by the community. What factor influence vulnerability in society? The vulnerabilities seen include shock that occur due to change in society, for example, due to natural disaster or change in government and political structure. The second stage is asset mapping, where asset mapping includes mapping of human resource asset, natural resource, social condition, financial condition, and physical asset out. The third stage is transformation, a process of structure change which include institutional change, change in laws and government regulation. The fourth stage in determining a life strategy, where there is agreement between the community regarding an intervention provided to development or improve the situation. The fifth stage is the emergence of the survival outcome, where we can see an increase in people income, the case with which people can access their basic needs and freedom, reduction from the negative influence and that bind them. In the case of Luoro village, this is to reduce dependence on penghijauan and middlemen in their lives. Next, case study. Mosque as a center for community development activity. The Sustainable Livelihood Framework uses this business program has 5 stages. Number 1, identification and mapping community vulnerability in carried out in the first stage. The next step is mapping the 5 community livelihood assets. The third step in the transformation of process and structure involving every stakeholder that influence access to livelihood sources. At this step, we can see the involvement of students who help and support the village government by carrying out mentoring program. In implementing the mentoring program, this stage aim to describe the role of each stakeholder who can facilitate and hinder the program. The establishment of a community empowerment center or Pasdayana is placed in the middle stage between the third and fourth stage of SLF. Nurul Huda Mosque was founded on February 14, 2012. Members of Pengajian are the Women's Al-Quran Study Group, which is part of the Al-Hidayah Mosque. Before Nurul Huda Mosque was founded, This women's study group already had a program called Social Gathering. The women's study group has a social gathering that uses rice as a medium. They collect one rice shell every week. The member of this woman group number 20 until 30 people. Batok is empty coconut shell used to measure traditional rice. One shell is equal to 0.47 kilograms. Apart from holding rice social gathering, they also hold regular social gathering that use money. They collect 2,000 rupiahs every week. They hold a social gathering every Friday night. Before the existence of the recitation program, the mosque management has several programs such as Manakib, which was held every month on 12, Istiqosah, and Tahlil, which were held every Friday, and Pengajian on Quran, which was held twice a year on 10th of Rajab and the first of the month of Muharram. Sustainable Livelihood Framework is a development by the Department of International Development to analyze and understand people's livelihood source. SLF consists of 5 capital assets. Number 1, natural asset. Number 2, human asset. Number 3, social asset. Number 4, financial asset. Number 5, physical asset. Mosque can become centers of community development activity by building human asset, strategy social asset, increasing asset to financial asset, building infrastructure development technology. Formulation of problem using the rapid ruler appraisal method. Step number 1, community selection. Number 2, team formatting. Number 3, data collection. Number 4, data analysis. Number 5, solution development. Developing appropriate solution to overcome problems faced by society. That's all about my explanation. Thank you for your attention and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi